Welcome to Steps Forward with Ricky, a weekly walking podcast designed to help you take steps forward in your life and your day. Hello. Welcome to my podcast. I am Ricky, your host. I am a podcaster, obviously, a speaker, a mentor, and a creator. I help people take steps forward in their life, heal internally, walk away from weed, and keep moving forward. If it's your first time here, I don't usually do an extra introduction like that, but it just kind of happened. And welcome to the podcast. For those that are new, for those that have always listened, remember that this is a walking podcast, meaning that we take steps forward and we move our body as we walk. So welcome. I want to normalize ebb and flows of creativity and ebb and flows of just sometimes waking up and just being like, this is not the week that I feel like doing all of these things. And the reason why I want to normalize it is because I have been experiencing it a lot lately, just in my own life and in my business and just like in general. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, I love everything that I'm doing and I want to go on Instagram and promote everything and do the thing. And then sometimes I wake up and I just have a lot of resistance. I don't know if you can relate to that. Like whether it's a business thing in your life or just in general, like, do you ever feel that resistance of just like, I don't want to do this today, or I can't do this today, or like, this doesn't feel authentic for me to do today. And I think that I used to get really anxious about it because I thought that it meant something, like maybe this wasn't for me. But what I'm realizing is that sometimes we just have ebb and flows in our life, in our business. And I actually have been trying to figure out, and this is really important for you to do as well, what resistance is something for me to look into and what resistance is something that is just a normal part of the process. And any process that you're in, whether it's a business or taking a step forward or the grief process. I mean, we all have different things that we go through during these points in our lives. And I'm able to really take a step back now and be like, okay, is this a Ricky thing or is this just like a normal thing and I just don't feel like doing it today? And sometimes it's hard for me to like push myself and sometimes I'm just like, no, you do this. And so I'll give you an example. Now that I'm thinking about it, this is what I always do. I just say things and then all of a sudden I come to conclusions as I'm talking. But I was actually just thinking about it. Sometimes I'll just use Instagram as an example. And I think this is like a metaphor for something bigger in people's lives. It's just like sometimes I don't really want to go on there and I feel this amount of pressure to like be on and promote and do all these things. And you know what I realized though, now that I'm talking about it, it's because I'm not intentional with my time. That's what it is. You would think that I just like had this crazy epiphany and I literally just did. Like, that's it. I am not intentional with my time. Holy shit. Let's pause for a minute. I'm not. Like, that's probably why I feel so exhausted sometimes and why I feel that resistance, because I'm not intentional with my time. Meaning, like, I know people that are business owners and, changing their life or whatever they're doing. I'll just talk in business right now because that's honestly what I'm talking about, that are intentional with how they show up on social media, or like they're intentional that between these hours they are promoting something. They are intentional with the posts. They are intentional with the things they put out there. I am sporadic. Literally. It's part of my charm, but it's also part of the reason I have a lot of like stress and resistance towards things, because like there's one part of me that's super, maybe you can relate to this, like super, super creative, better on my feet, not the kind of person who like needs 25 steps to follow. But I'm also this person that does that, like, as good as I am on my feet, sometimes I'm so on my feet that I don't stop moving. And then I become resistant. So if I wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh, I have this program this week to promote, or I want to talk about this week, it's like, I sometimes I can't get myself to do it. And I realize now it's because I'm not intentional with my time. I just show up when I want to show up. And that's not always a good thing, just in general, right? Like, it's like only showing up for your sobriety when you feel like showing up, or only showing up for your meditation when you feel like showing up, or only showing up for your workout when you feel like showing up. Like, that's not, yes, it's good to push yourself and show up, but sometimes it's good to be intentional with your time. So being like, today I am clean. I am intentional with that. Or I am going to work out between these hours. I am going to create 3 of these videos. I'm going to show up today on Tuesdays and Thursdays and promote. Not just like waking up and just being like, whatever happens today happens. And then this is what happens is I find myself getting really anxious and overwhelmed and actually doing nothing. That's the ADHD brain. Am I right or am I right? So figuring out, this is like the thing, this is sort of the place that I'm at as just like a person, as an entrepreneur, as a mentor, as a speaker, as a podcaster, just as a human being of like, okay, do I have to be on 24 hours a day for people to feel my energy and feel my impact? No, definitely not. Do I think that I need to be on 24 hours a day to be impactful? Yes, absolutely. And that is my own limiting thought that actually really hinders me from saving and conserving my energy. And so if I was just more intentional with my time, being like, okay, I show up for an hour and a half every day. I create these videos, I answer these comments, I promote, I share, and that's my time that I show up. So when I show up, I'm so there. And it reminds me of like my walking away from weed program, because it's only an hour and a half a day. It's a 3-day program. But when I am there, I am so intentional. I'm 100% there, and I can conserve my energy enough to know that like I'm showing up for this thing tonight. But I think that if it was every single day, I might be exhausted, because that's exhausting. I mean, it's exhausting for anyone to have to show up every single day and give every single part of them all the time. And it's interesting. I don't know if you can relate to that, but it's like, this is why people get burnout. This is why people have resistance. This is why people give up on their journeys, because they just, either they go 100% in and then they run out of fuel, or they're never intentional with the decisions that they make. They just make them whenever they feel like making them. And that's kind of what I do. On the days that I'm intentional, in the sense of like, this is my morning routine. I am making 2 videos today. I am promoting this. I am talking about this. And then that's it. And then you know what else has been kind of fucking with me is the time difference in the world. So like, I'm used to living in Detroit, right? I live in LA now. I have lost my morning routine. And I swear to God, I think it's fucking with me. I don't know what's happening, but I used to get up at like 5:15 in Michigan, and I never checked my phone. I would get up, I would drink a coffee, go for a walk, go walk on the treadmill. I would create content, but not content to like put out there. I just like loved creating things on my phone as I walked. I wasn't like engaging with people. I wasn't looking at other people's videos. I didn't talk to anyone from like 5 to like 9. Okay, this was like my time. But now, if I wake up at 5:45, the day is already 9 o'clock almost on the East Coast. And I've lost my morning routine. And I think it's fucking with me, because it was the most sacred part of my day. And now my day, which is great, but it's like, so I do a few different things. Like, one of the things that I do is I run marketing for a company, right? And so on social media, I have to wake up, like their day starts at 9. I'm up at 5:45. The first thing that I have to do is be on my phone. And I don't get that time to not talk to anybody, because I feel like I only have X amount of hours to get everything in, because honestly, by 5 o'clock my time, it's bedtime for people on the East Coast. Like, they're pretty checked out. And that means I only have between like, I don't know, 6 a.m. and this is what I feel. I don't know if these are like real beliefs. I mean, these are not like, they might not be rational, but I feel rushed. That's the word I'm looking for. I feel rushed. I might do it to myself, but I feel rushed. And maybe this rushedness is a signal to me that I need to start to plan better, so I'm not rushed. Because I used to have those 3.5 hours in the morning. I used to get so much shit done because I wasn't rushed to do it. And now I've taken away this like moment to myself in the morning, and I'm just go, 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 go. And I'm like, it actually creates more resistance for me. for some reason. I don't feel pressure to like do a bunch of different Instagram stories. I actually feel the opposite. I feel resistant. Does anyone ever, can you relate to that? Like, you know that you have to do something, but you're just like, I don't want to do it. You're tired. You're just like, no, I'm not doing it. But I should do it. And that's the other thing. When I should myself, I'm out. Like, you lost me at should. I want to do it. I want to show up. I love showing up. When I'm in my walking away from weed groups and when I'm mentoring people, when I'm on my podcast, when I'm showing up, I love to be where I'm at. It's getting there. Right? Like, you love how you feel not high. It's getting there. Like, you love how you feel after the gym. It's getting to the gym. It's always getting there. And when you lose certain routines or you feel rushed or you're not intentional with your time, it's really hard to get there. Because then when you get there, you're kind of exhausted. So I guess my point is that I've just trying to figure out how to work through this resistance. And I think the best way for me to do it is to start to plan things more intentional, which for me is like kind of exhausting because I'm a fly by your seat kind of girl, but it doesn't really work for me anymore. And as a business owner, it definitely doesn't work. And if I want to be very impactful and very successful, I have to figure out a time and a way to protect my energy. And I have a lot of energy. So like, but I'm not like using it correctly. I was this girl the other day, I was listening to this mentor because I'm signed up for a bunch of different, programs. And she said like, rest is my like success to my business in the sense of like, people don't have to see me all the time to know that I'm there. Like they can feel my leadership. They can feel my energy. I show up on my stories when I'm ready to show up, when I'm rested. And then when I enter that room, I am there. She's like, but if I just showed up every day randomly whenever I wanted, I would be fucking exhausted. And it's just true in anywhere in life. And it's something that I'm starting to realize more and more of, just like that feeling of rushness I've created for myself, that story that I can't plan things, the story that I don't want to show up, even though I really do. I'm just tired. And so I think it's important for everybody to really examine like their daily habits and like look at your life and like, where are you showing up that maybe you're spending too much time? And where are you not showing up that you could spend more time showing up? And where can you be more intentional with the decisions that you make? If my morning routine is sacred to me, then like I better start planning some shit ahead because then I don't have to lose it. And if creating 5 videos a day is exhausting for me right now, this week doesn't have to. Sometimes I wake up and I create 5 videos and it's the best time of my life. That's okay. That's creativity. That's just like flow. That's normal. Like you can have those moments in your business and in your life. Like sometimes you wake up and you're super motivated, right? But what happens on the days you're not? How do you show up? I think it's important that we know it's not about how do we show up when we're feeling great. It's how do we show up when we're like, I don't want to show up today. I want to smoke. I want to do this. I want to do that. Sometimes I let myself just not show up. And I don't know if that's really the right answer in terms of like my business. Obviously not, because I love what I'm doing. But we have to be more intentional with the decisions that we make as we're making them. And it's okay if you have resistance, but don't resist the resistance. Like lean into it. What is it? Where does it come from? What do you need to change? Because I know for myself, if I make my to-do list with 1 million things to do and I'm rushing and I'm losing energy, like I don't do any of it. So it's like, what's working for you in your life right now? What's not? What choices are you intentionally making? And what choices are you just waking up and feeling like doing? I think especially being an entrepreneur, it's like I have to be the accountability and the structure. And I have to be the big girl that comes in and says like, sit your ass down. And that's kind of hard, And I think about like, I had a life coaching business for a long time and that was really hard for me. Just like, obviously I was smoking and my whole life was just sort of like in shambles as I was going through it. And I didn't really love what I was doing at that time, like the particular time. And then I stopped. I've been working, I did some marketing, working for somebody else. And now I'm back to the entrepreneur life from a very, very different place. And I'm not smoking. Like, I don't have things to like elevate my experience now. Like, I don't have things to be like, oh, I'm bored or like not motivated. Let me get high. Right. So now the only person I'm dependent on is literally me. And it's a great thing. I've grown a lot, but it's a scary thing because I hold the responsibility. And so do you. Everything in your life is your responsibility in some form or the other. Like if you don't feel well and you're eating like shit, that's your responsibility. If you're still getting high every day, that's your responsibility. I'm not saying you have to do all these responsibilities on your own. I'm just saying they are quite frankly your responsibilities. You have to take the first step and acknowledge if what you're doing it the right way, or if you need some support, or if some areas you could be more intentional with. So I think for me, I'm just, because I'm back in the entrepreneur game and because the way that I was doing it before didn't work for me. And I felt so much resistance and so much anxiety. And I was building a company that I loved, but also like hated because I was getting high all day and just wasn't making the money that I wanted. I had so many limiting beliefs. Like there were so many things that I couldn't get past. And now I've eliminated half of those. I still got some other shit. Obviously, we all do. But now I'm like, okay, you do have these certain beliefs, but you can also see that there's like more to it here, right? Like I can, I'm doing well financially. Obviously, like we can always be improving, but I'm doing well financially. I'm making more money than I've ever made on my own. And I feel super, super proud of that. And I am not afraid to talk about money. I think I was more afraid to make money than I was to talk about it. And I have a lot of goals for myself financially. I really do. Like I want to make a lot of money. The more money I make, the more impact I create. That's how I look at money. Because if I have more money in my bank account and more money in my life, then I can do more for other people. I have more freedom to create. I have more freedom to give away things for free. I have so much more opportunities to help more people and to live a life that makes sense to me, which the more happy you are, the more free you feel, the more you can give to others. Do I think money buys happiness? Sometimes. Let's be serious here. I don't think that money doesn't buy happiness. I think that you could get to have all the money in the whole world and you could fucking hate your life, but that's different. I'm working hard at really understanding why I want to make money and what it does for me, and that it's not the only thing that matters, obviously. But I feel good about it. And that's okay. You don't have to feel bad about making money. Like, please do not feel bad about that. Embrace that. Love that. But I think that like, I'm scared of it. I'm scared of the things that I'm doing now. And so maybe that's where the resistance comes from. I don't really know. Clearly, just been talking about it in circles. Maybe you're like, yeah, I don't know either. You're like, I thought I knew. And then I turned this podcast on and now I don't know either. It's fine. Everything's fine. Okay. So that's it. Oh, really quickly, what I did want to say was that so last night we had our 5th Walking Away from Weed group, which is incredible. 94 people have gone through the program. I mean, if you would have told me that, I would have been like, that's not a thing. Like, yeah, fucking right. First of all, I'll never be able to stop smoking. So like that wouldn't even be possible. Second of all, like what? 94 people. The sobriety rate is like 80 something percent. That's fucking literally 3-day program. That's insane. Incredible. And now I have a monthly membership and I have mentorship, ongoing support, and I'm creating other programs now that have nothing to do with walking away from weed. Because at the end of the day, it's all the same thing. We're all just trying to escape something. We want to keep taking steps forward in our life. However, my whole point to this was that I wrote down 8 months ago today. Oh my God. Yes. 8 months ago today, that I could never make money doing life coaching. I literally wrote that down. I remember writing it down. I know exactly where I wrote it. I know exactly what George said in Michigan. It says, I cannot make money and impact lives life coaching. I only thought that I could do it one-on-one. So sometimes the things that we think we'll never be able to do are the things that we will eventually be doing. And you have to trust your process and trust who you are and trust that when you walk away from things in your life, you walk towards other really great things. All right, guys, I'm out. I'll see you Monday. Love you. Have a good walk. Hope you had a good walk. Drink water. And follow me on Instagram and TikTok. And I'll let you guys know when the next Walking Away from Weed group is. And I'm starting to open up mentorship possibilities too. So I'll keep you updated. Okay, bye.